I thought we'd start off the program today talking about the mysterious molecules of inflammation, the bodily chemicals that are so linked to the inflammatory process and to the anti-inflammatory process as well. They're called PGs. They're technically called prostaglandins. We'll call them PGs, and they're intimately connected with inflammation and with anti-inflammation. And they comprise one of the most important of all pharmaceutical drug categories, the so-called non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, NSAIDs as they're called, which include Motrin and Aleve and even aspirin and Tylenol. These days you can also get something called a COX-2 inhibitor. You've probably heard of something called Celebrex. That's a famous COX-2 inhibitor. And while these drugs are supposed to be less toxic than Motrin and aspirin and naproxen, they're still poisons, and they come with their own side effect toxicity profile. Yesterday, a large study from Denmark based on 100,000 patients determined that these types of drugs increase risks for deaths following stroke. And this is on top of their much discussed and acknowledged risks for increasing the incidences of heart attacks and strokes. So in other words, they've been shown to increase deaths from strokes and to increase stroke incidence and heart attack incidence as well. All these toxicities and side effects and the general yuckiness that's associated with these types of anti-inflammatory drugs, especially digestive distress, all this has to do with PGs, prostaglandins. And even though many folks haven't heard of prostaglandins, PGs, and even less know about these fatty substances and what they do and how critically important they are to health, deficiencies in PGs play an important role in many, probably in all, degenerative disease. Prostaglandins, PGs, are essentially an activated form of ultimate EFA. When you take your ultimate EFAs, what you're taking is a chassis or a building block upon which the body can superimpose various molecules to form these prostaglandins. In other words, your ultimate EFAs are the raw materials. They're the building blocks for forming these PGs, which are among the most powerful and important, if not the most powerful and important molecules in the body, and perhaps in all of biology. Even though PGs were initially discovered in the 1930s, it wasn't until recently, maybe 1970s or 1980s, that the really extreme value of these molecules was really understood. In 1982, prostaglandin chemistry was awarded the Nobel Prize. Actually, 3 European physicians got the Nobel Prize for their work in elucidating the various roles that these prostaglandins play in the body. So it's been only about 30 or 40 years that we've really understood how super-duper important these PGs are. And these days, even though PGs are still somewhat underappreciated by most average folks, drug companies have become quite fond of their money-making potential. Remember, these things are powerful. Modulating, blocking, working somehow with PGs, mimicking PGs is big bucks. Big dollars for the pharmacomedical model, and prostaglandin PG chemistry is the target for lots of over-the-counter as well as prescription drugs, most notably, as we said, aspirin, Motrin, naproxen, Aleve, and Celebrex. All work by suppressing or inhibiting the effects of these PGs. The COX-2 inhibitors, those are the most recent of the PG drugs. These work by blocking an enzyme called COX-2. COX-2 inhibitors block this enzyme called COX-2, which ends up shutting down PG synthesis. And this is a classic example of the short-sightedness and really biochemical silliness of the pharmacomedical model. Given how incredibly important PGs are, who could ever think that blocking their production is somehow a therapeutically valid health strategy? The reason PG blocking medications are the leading cause of drug toxicity, and they're a leading cause of drug-induced deaths, they're a leading cause of drug-induced hospitalizations. The reason these things are so significant when it comes to drug and side effect toxicity is because we're not supposed to be monkeying around with these stupendously important biochemical molecules, with this family of biochemicals. One of the most significant aspects of PG chemistry is we can become deficient in it. In fact, prostaglandin PG deficiency may be the common denominator in all chronic degenerative diseases, in all inflammatory diseases, and that includes autoimmune diseases. 23 to 30 million people have an autoimmune disease of some kind or another. That's 1 out of 10 Americans have an autoimmune disease, and prostaglandin deficiencies may be related to every single one of them. And prostaglandin deficiency might be much more common than anyone recognizes or anyone realizes. And when you realize the key relationship between EFAs, the ultimate EFAs from longevity, and fat metabolism, and fat absorption, and PGs, PG production, this should surprise no one. Almost everybody has some, as we get older, almost everyone has some degree of fat malabsorption, difficulties absorbing fats, and essential fatty acid deficiency, EFA deficiency. This is why we're always hitting fat digestion so hard and fat absorption so hard on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program and on my program, The Bright Side. The best way to make sure you're getting enough PGs, it's simple. Make sure you're using your ultimate EFAs on a daily basis. 6 capsules a day, 9 capsules a day, 12 capsules a day. You can take 18 capsules a day. PGs are basically a souped-up version of the ultimate EFAs. Or put another way, the ultimate EFAs are the raw material building block chassis upon which the body builds these PGs. And this makes the ultimate EFAs very, very effective anti-inflammatory nutrients and immune-boosting nutrients. Use them if you have an autoimmune disease or any itis condition, arthritis, bursitis, diverticulitis, conjunctivitis, prostatitis. All of these inflammatory conditions can be mitigated, can be reduced. The symptoms can be reduced by using your ultimate essential fatty acids. All right. We're going to come back with more good health information, and we're going to take your phone calls as well at 831-685-1080, 831-685-1080, or 888-379-2552, 888-379-2552. I'm Pharmacist Ben, sitting in for Dr. Wallach today. You're listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program on the ZBS Radio Network. We'll be back after this. I'll be sitting in for the next 45 minutes or so with my good friend and colleague, Douglas Winfrey. What is up, Doug? How you doing, buddy?
Great to have you on.
Thank you.
I thought we'd talk a little bit about emotions and how that can make you get fat. Had a Fox News story here, headlined, "Emotions Can Be Fattening." And they say upset, anxiety, boredom, restlessness are all common triggers for impulsive eating that can lead to weight gain. They say there's ways to preempt the emotional binge, though. And they say stick to a regular meal time. Eat satisfying meals and snacks and stick to regular eating patterns. Say hit the pause button. Interrupt your craving by phoning a friend, taking a walk, or tackling a project that will leave you feeling good. Tune out temptation. They say turn a blind eye and nose to tempting foods. Ban them from your home, desk, car, and handbag. Snack smarter. They say instead of going for those deep-fried tortilla chips, you should go for whole grain pita bread cut into wedges, lightly sprayed with cooking spray, and sprinkled with salt or dried herbs and toasted crispy brown. I would contend that most people are too lazy to go.
That sounds like a lot of work, huh?
That's a lot of work.
I don't know if I could do it. You know what's interesting?
Visualize success as well as imagine yourself as a confident, healthy, and in control person. Think positively and pat yourself on the back when you take control and avert a binge. And and most binging eating, at least according to Dr. Wallach, is due to mineral deficiencies. You crave fatty foods because you're lacking the essential fatty acids, or you crave sugar because you're minerally deficient. Not one mention that in this whole article.
Right. And we both know how people lose weight when they start a nutritional supplement program. How many times have you seen that? I've seen it hundreds of times.
I have a friend that's doing it right now. She had been taking vitamins for a number of years, and she knew I was involved with longevity, and she'd heard the show a few times. And so she approached me one day and said, hey, those vitamins and minerals that you take, could I try those? And I said, sure. And so I got her a Healthy Start pack. And, I didn't see her for a couple of 3 weeks, and so I started wondering if maybe she was mad at me that she decided she didn't like it. So I happened to run into her, and I said, hey, you're taking those vitamins? And she goes, I got to tell you, she goes, the first time I tried to take those things, she goes, they tasted really bad. And I said, oh, well, if you're not using them, I'd be willing to buy them back from you, so you don't waste your money. And she goes, oh, no. She goes, I figured out I could put it in a smoothie, and then I don't taste it. I put a bunch of blueberries and other things in there to kind of mask the taste. And she goes, and wow. She goes, I stopped drinking coffee because this stuff's like an energy drink. She goes, I just put it in my smoothie and drink that all day long. She goes, I don't even eat lunch most days, whereas I used to always have to stop and have lunch because I started feeling kind of, tired. And she goes, man, and I'm losing weight because I'm not eating as much food because I'm not hungry. I don't have these cravings. And I'm like going, yeah, now you see what we're talking about.
Exactly, Doug. And you know what? When you hear these stories, how can you not share them with people? How can you not tell other people when you see somebody who needs to lose weight?
It's criminal not to.
Right? It's criminal not to tell people. It's not fair to hold that as a secret. And what's even cooler is we're paying people to tell that story. We would tell that story anyway, right? You would never hold back on that.
Oh, yeah. I tell my stories all the time.
But you can get paid now.
And some of them are true.
Doc Wallach has set up a situation set up a business where we can get paid for sharing a story that we would be sharing anyway. And make no mistake about it, you will be sharing it anyway. I've seen people lose weight more times than I can count, hundreds if not thousands of times people lose weight. Not that it's a weight loss program, not that nutritional supplementation is about weight loss, but the weight loss is just kind of like it goes along with it. It's a phenomena that occurs with you feeling better. It's a phenomena that occurs with you getting the nutrients that you need.
And it's also a feel good for yourself knowing that you're helping your friends and family.
Don't we all want to help people? Don't we all feel better when we help people?
Yeah, we all feel better when you help a little old lady across the street or whatever.
Anybody.
Anything you do to help someone else. Yeah.
That's what we're built for. That's what human beings are built for. And I think my personal opinion is when we're not feeling as good as we should, if we're depressed or we got some emotional things going on, we're feeling sad, it's because we're somehow thinking too much about ourselves and not focusing on how we can be of help. There's another really interesting point about weight loss and nutritional deficiencies, and we'll talk about that when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben, along with Doug Winfrey, sitting in for Dr. Wallach. Today, you're listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. Our number is 831-685-1080, 831-685-1080, or 888-379-2552, 888-379-2552. Got a couple lines open for you. We'd love to hear from you. We'll be back after this. Don't go away. When did we give up? When did we abdicate responsibility for what is most intimate and most personal to us, which is our bodies? Doug, I'm asking you, how did this occur? What happened?
It happened starting in 1911.
Probably. Is that the Flexner Report? Is that what you're talking about?
No, that I don't think came out until like the 40s or 20s.
No. It might have been the 20s.
But in 1911, Procter & Gamble bought the formula for Crisco from a German company. And then they went to the American Heart Association, which was a fledgling organization at the time. They was just getting started. And they said, hey, we'll give you $1.7 million, which in 1911, $1 million is a lot of money. And they gave $1.7 million to the American Heart Association if they would promote Crisco as a healthy eating and cooking method, and that to also state that butter and cream and dairy products are bad for you. And that's probably about when it started. So this has been going on for probably well over 100 years, where, naturopathic doctors aren't licensed in a lot of states, and then the only alternative you have is mainstream medicine.
Well, how did that get to be? I want to go to a naturopath.
It's called legislation at the state level.
I want to go to Dr. Glidden. I want to go to Dr. Wallach. I don't want to go to a modern medical model representative or a pharmacist for that matter. I stopped doing pharmacy, regular pharmacy, almost 20 years ago. I started a skincare pharmacy and a nutritional pharmacy, but I just couldn't live with myself dispensing some of these things. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. We're coming back with your phone calls. 831-685-1080 is our priority line number. 888-379-2552. Toll free if you've got questions about the longevity products, health, nutrition, prescription drugs. We can help. We're going to take a time out and come back. Don't go away. We got more good health information on the way. You're listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie radio program on the ZBS Radio Network. All right, we're back on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. I'm Pharmacist Ben, along with Doug Winfrey. We'll get your phone calls here in just a sec. I was promised I would tell you about this one kind of interesting connection between weight loss and stress that we don't really hear a lot about. You ever hear folks, Douglas, talking about not being able to lose weight no matter what they're doing, and they're on a starvation diet and they can't lose weight, and they're doing everything but they can't lose everything they know how to do, but exercising, and they just can't lose the weight. That usually involves an activated stress response. One of the ways that the body responds to stress, whether that stress is real, like a saber-toothed tiger real, or whether that stress is imagined, like the IRS or credit card bills, or emotional and mental stresses that we have in our lives. Whatever that stress is, once that hormone cortisol goes up, it's going to become very difficult to lose weight, and that's going to be due to a couple of reasons. Number one, it's part of the body's generic stress response to keep pounds on. It's one of the ways the body protects us from starving. And when we're under stress, the body doesn't know it's our credit card bills. The body thinks we may be starving to death, or we may be in some kind of life-threatening situation, of which starvation is one of the most important. So it's not going to let us lose weight. Another issue with chronic long-term secretion of stress hormones, which Glenn Beck is dealing with, is shutdown or slowdown of the thyroid, hypothyroidism. Now, how many people do you know out there with hypothyroidism? And almost all of them are going to get Synthroid or iodine. Iodine's a little better, but how many of them are going to start to work with their adrenal glands? How many of them are going to be are going to start using the Osteomag or magnesium or vitamin C or the Beyond Tangy Tangerine or EFAs, all of which are very important for the adrenal glands? How many people are going to be told that they should be eating less sugar? Again, important for the adrenal glands and adrenal health. How many people are going to be told they should be practicing deep breathing techniques? Again, very important for helping manage the stress response. So if you're one of those folks who's been trying to lose weight, you can't drop the pounds, you find yourself just uncontrollably eating, especially uncontrollably eating sugar and sweets, the chances are really good you're dealing with excessive secretion of stress hormones following some kind of stressor, mental, emotional stressor, or a physical stressor, which includes nutritional deficiencies, deficiencies in oxygen, and excess amounts of sugar in the diet. So if you're one of those folks that can't lose weight, get yourself on that Healthy Start Pack. Relax the body's stress response, practice deep breathing techniques, use what I call, or what's been called, immersion therapy, where you use hot water, hot baths, hot tubs, hot showers. All these are great ways to relax the adrenal glands, lower cortisol secretion, and ultimately lose those pounds as well. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben, along with Doug Winfrey, sitting in for Doc Wallach today. We do have a line open for you at 831-685-1080 or 888-379-2552. Time to hit our phones. Let's see who's on the line, Douglas.
All right, let's head to the Windy City, Chicago, Illinois. And Jen, you're on with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
What's up, Jen?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How's it going? I was just in your Windy City last week, and I loved it.
Oh, great. It's going to be really cold here this week.
It was nice. It was nice last week, and I was walking around in my shorts and T-shirt because I was coming from Colorado, and everybody was wearing their winter coats, and I was very surprised. This was last Monday, but I had a good time in Chicago. So what's going on?
The weather here.
What's cooking?
I have heard a lot about your products from my uncle, and the reason I'm calling is I can't find anything to help what I've been diagnosed with, which is interstitial cystitis.
Okay.
And
I'm
help with
that?
Not sure if you know what that is.
Oh, I know what it is.
Oh, wonderful.
I know what it is.
A lot of people are like, what is that?
Let me tell you what it is. I don't need to tell you what it is, but it's miserable. It's awful.
It is awful.
Oh, it's one of the most awful things. It doesn't sound like it would be like, well, it's awful. It's miserable. But go ahead, and we'll talk about how to take care of it here in a sec. Go ahead.
I also been diagnosed with panic anxiety disorder, and I'm currently taking Zoloft for that, but I don't want to be taking it. But it helps, but I don't want to be taking it.
Well, I don't blame you. So let's talk about interstitial cystitis, and then we'll talk about anxiety disorder as well, because we can kill two birds with one stone. I don't think I like that phrase. We'll take care of both of those things with one quick answer. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. 831-685-1080 is our priority line number. 888-379-2552. Toll free. We're coming back with more good health information in your phone calls right after this. Don't touch that dial. All right, we're back on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program, talking to Ann, I believe, in Chicago. Is that right, Ann? Jen, I'm sorry. Jen in Chicago. Interstitial cystitis is a fancy schmancy bladder infection, basically. Urinary tract infection. You go to the bathroom a lot. You feel like you got to go to the bathroom a lot, and it burns, and it's just miserable. Is that right? Did I describe that accurately?
Yeah.
It's an awful. I mean, it's hard to describe how awful it is. It's really awful. Thing is, it's not really a primary symptom. It's a secondary symptom. It follows other issues, as does your anxiety, by the way. Interstitial cystitis is oftentimes related to digestive problems and bacteria problems in the gut. And one of the best ways to treat interstitial cystitis from a nutritional standpoint, from a supplement standpoint, is use probiotics. The Biolumin Nightly Essence is by far and away the most incredible probiotic that I've seen in my 30 years of being a pharmacist. It's got digestive enzymes in it, and it's got a wide spectrum of bacteria, and it's got a lot of them. And that's what you want to look for in a good probiotic supplement. Lots of different forms of bacteria, lots of different species, if you will, and then lots of units, they call them, and billions of units. The probiotics, the Biolumin Nightly Essence probiotics are loaded with everything you need for probiotics to work, and they're great for dealing with urinary tract infections as well as interstitial cystitis and that sort of thing. Second thing you're going to want to do is start to correct any digestive issues that you might have. This can cause changes in the probiotic population in your gut, and that also can be related to interstitial cystitis. So if you know you have digestive issues, and as I say, interstitial cystitis is oftentimes a secondary condition, you might want to look for the primary cause, which oftentimes is in the digestive system. So if you know you have digestive health problems, you're going to want to address those. Use the Ultimate Enzymes in addition to the Biolumin Nightly Essence, and one of the all-time great antibacterial, immune-boosting, anti-urinary tract infection supplements I know of is called the Z-Radical from Youngevity. And it's not only great for dealing with interstitial cystitis or bacterial infections, it's also great for your digestive system. And it's also great for dealing with blood sugar and eating issues as well. Now, once you start to take care of your digestive system problems, you may notice that your emotional or anxiety issues are going away. There's a couple things to think about when you have anxiety. Number one, there's mental and emotional causes of anxiety. And I'm not going to talk about those, but those need to be addressed. And obviously, if you have something going on, thinking controls your body, and emotions have an effect on your body as well. So thinking and emotions are fundamental when it comes to mental health issues. I'm not going to address those. Those are something you can do on your own. But from a nutritional standpoint, when the body is malnourished, when it's deficient in nutrients, your brain is going to think it's an emergency and you're going to feel anxious. You understand what I'm saying? The brain is going to make up a reason for the anxiety, and you'll think it's your, whatever's going on in your life, but it could be just a simple nutritional deficiency, especially in the brain vitamins. The brain vitamins are your B vitamins and magnesium, among others. Also the ultimate essential fatty acids. So get yourself on the Healthy Start Pack. One of the neatest things about the Beyond Tangy Tangerine is it's packed, and I mean packed, with the B vitamins. If you do the Healthy Start Pack, you'll also get your ultimate essential fatty acids, and you'll also get some magnesium. One last thing that you might want to consider is low blood sugar can also be interpreted as an emergency by the brain, and low blood sugar can also induce anxiety. Hypoglycemia is the technical term for low blood sugar. So keeping your blood sugar stable is very important. When you eat sweets or bread or pasta or potatoes or any foods that the body perceives as being a sugary sweet food, the body will yank all that sugar out of the blood, and we'll go low blood sugar or hypoglycemic. We'll go out for more sugar. Pull all that sugar out of the blood, and we'll go hypoglycemic again. We'll get more sugar, and on this goes. So keeping the blood sugar stable, getting off what I call the high blood sugar, low blood sugar roller coaster is very important. How do you do that? Well, use your Beyond Tangy Tangerine in your Healthy Start Pack. Make sure you're using your essential fatty acids, especially for keeping that blood sugar stable. And then last but most certainly not least, when it comes to keeping your blood sugar stable, one of the best all-time strategies is using more protein. In fact, every time you feel like eating sugary sweets, which can throw off the probiotics in your gut, that's another problem with the sweets. But anytime you feel like eating the bread and the pasta, even oatmeal or whole grain bread or rice, all of those can throw off your blood sugar. Kind of guide yourself into a hard-boiled egg, or maybe some whey protein, some Slender FX, or a piece of fish, or some sushi or tuna fish, or something along those lines. Sardines, by the way, and herring are wonderful sources of protein, and they're also great sources of good omega-3 fats. Any of these high-protein, high-fat foods can help you, can help stabilize your blood sugar and keep you off of that high blood sugar, low blood sugar roller coaster. Healthy Start Pack, Biolumin Nightly Essence, Z-Radical, more protein, and I think that's it. That should cover you. Thanks so much for your call, Jan. Appreciate it, and I hope we helped you. Who's next on the line? Douglas?
All right, let's head to Maryland. And Carmen, you're on with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
Hi, Dan.
What up, Carmen? I'm good.
Thank you. How are you doing? Okay, that's good. I'm allergic to like 50 medications. I can't take aspirin or Benadryl. If I take that, I'll die, and on and on.
I'm having a hard time hearing you. Can I get you to speak up just a little louder? I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, much better. So I heard you say you're allergic to some...
50 medications, so I can't take anything. Yeah, aspirin, Tylenol, Benadryl, whatever. Okay. Yeah, it's good because I have to do everything natural.
That's good. I like that. That works perfect.
So I've got an eye problem. About a week ago, I feel like there's something wrong with the eyelid and the eyeball.
Is it twitching?
And I went to the doctor. No.
Are you twitchy?
I went to the doctor. No. And I went to the doctor, and he said that the oil glands that come through where your eyelashes are, there's like 50 of them, are blocked.
Okay.
And
good.
He would normally recommend an antibiotic, but since I'm allergic to everything, he said to just put a hot washcloth on your eye for 10 seconds and then put more hot water on it and do that for 10 more seconds until you do it for 5 minutes. And I was wondering if this could possibly be a nutritional deficiency.
Absolutely.
What do I need to add to it?
Absolutely. You're asking the right questions, my dear. First of all, hot water is not a bad idea, although the antibiotic is kind of silly. Why would you get an antibiotic if you don't have an infection? Why don't you ask the doctor that? Why would I get an antibiotic, doctor, if I don't have any bacteria? Well, he'll tell you because the antibiotics have some anti-inflammatory properties. That's the going story, and maybe that's true. But the point is you're going to mess up your own bacteria by killing your bacteria. Man, what are people thinking? All right, so here's the deal. When you have a blocked sebaceous gland or oil gland, whether it's in the face, which will cause a pimple, or whether it's in the eyes, which will cause a kind of eyelid cyst, you got fats that are sticky in combination with cells that are growing out of control. So if you picture the gland as like a hose, right? And the oils come out of the gland just like water comes out of a hose. The lining of the hose is made up of very, very teeny, 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 tiny cells. And the oil that comes through has to be oily so it can slip through. If we have nutritional deficiencies, two things occur. Number one, the cells that line the hose, did I explain that correctly or in an understandable way? You have cells that line the hose, that's the gland, okay? Those grow out of control. And then if you have nutritional deficiencies, the fats become sticky. And this is true not just for eyelid cysts, it's also true for pimples. All right? You guys get this? Tell your doctor.
Yeah.
Okay? So, okay. And I'm totally losing you. I don't know if you're on what kind of phone you're on there. But
I'm on a cell phone, yeah.
Okay, try to get into the microphone there. Okay, so here's the deal. So the hose, the cells that line the hose grow out of control following nutritional deficiencies, especially in fats, essential fatty acids, your ultimate EFAs, and also vitamin A, among others. And then the sebum becomes sticky under conditions of fatty acid deficiency as well, especially omega-3 fatty acids. Here's your treatment, my dear, nutritional. Get on the EFAs right away. It'll take you about 2 weeks. You should notice improvement pretty darn quickly, in less than 2 weeks, but at least in 2 weeks. Get on the ultimate EFAs, take high doses of it for 2 weeks, 18 capsules a day for 2 weeks. You can back down after that. And then on top of that, if you have any digestive issues around fat absorption, if you're not absorbing your fats, and that's very common, then you're going to want to, first of all, you're going to want to assess if you're absorbing your fats. Do you have any belly problems, gut problems after you eat fatty foods? Okay, so that's all part and parcel of the same picture. You're probably not absorbing your fats. So in addition to the ultimate EFAs, there's going to be one more thing that you want to take. So hang tight, and we'll get you when we come back from our break. Sebum, when it becomes sticky, can cause all kinds of problems, especially on the face and in the eyes. Actually, that's the only place sebum is. So only on the face and in the eyes. Anyway, I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie radio program. We'll be back right after this. Don't go away. All right, we got Carmine in... where's Carmine? Carmine, Maryland. Carmine, what's going on? Ask your question again.
Okay, I have blockage on my eye oil gland.
Oh, you said
and
sebum.
You told me to take 18 EFAs and something else for the digestion.
Digestive enzymes. Here's what you need to do, my dear. Sticky sebum, cells in the hose growing out of control, follows fat malabsorption. So what you want, and it usually takes many years for this to show up, by the way, so you must have been dealing with your fat issues, your digestive issues for a long time. So what you want to do is get yourself on the Biolumin Nightly Essence, take 3 in the morning, 3 at night. You want to take the ultimate digestive enzymes with your meals or after your meals, 2 to 3 with and after your meals or after your meals, and some apple cider vinegar with it to activate the digestive enzymes. Make sure you're on the Healthy Start Pack. Make sure you're doubling up on or taking 18 of the ultimate essential fatty acids every day. If you want to throw one more thing in, go to the health food store and get 20,000 international units a day of vitamin A. That can also be very, very important. High doses of vitamin A. Not really high doses, but moderately high doses. All right, but consider it a sebum problem and a cell division problem. Cells growing crazy inside that follicle. Okay, thanks for your call, Carmine. Got to go. Got a couple more calls to get to. God bless you. Hope we helped. Who's next, Douglas?
Let's head to Wyoming. And D, you're on with Pharmacist Ben.
What up, D?
Hey, what's happening?
What's the word? How can we help you?
Oh, it's cold.
It is cold. I'm in Colorado. I couldn't believe how cold it was this morning.
It's crazy.
Are you in the mountains? Are you in the mountains in Wyoming? Where are you?
I live down in the Bighorn Basin.
Okay, and what city? What town?
I'm about an hour from Cody.
You're not even in a town, are you? Wyoming has a lot.
The population in my area is 83.
I can know exactly what you're talking about. I love Wyoming, driving through it, but I wouldn't want to live there. But anyway, go ahead. What's going on? How can we help you?
Hey, I have a 20-year-old daughter. 3 years ago, she had a hip arthroscopy. She had a hip impingement with a labral tear.
Oh, okay. She needs some help?
She just recently, like a week ago, went to lift her leg up and something popped. And so she's been having issues with that again. And the one doctor in Cody that we went to see that did not do the procedure says that he thinks that the impingement, that they didn't do it correctly.
All right, well, let me tell you the nutritional, and I hate to rush through you, but I got one more call. It's been holding on for a long time. Here's the deal. The mechanical issue is not a nutritional issue, it's mechanics. And if they did something wrong when they cut it, that's a whole different issue. But there's probably associated inflammation that is keeping healing from occurring the way it should. Do you know what I'm saying? An inflammatory condition that's underlying. And so for inflammatory conditions, you got two main strategies, and then a third ancillary strategy. Number one, you got to work on the digestive system because that's the most important place where inflammatory factors get into the body. And that means any kind of digestive issues need to be addressed. Using the ultimate enzymes between meals can help with the inflammation, and during meals can also help obviously help with the digestive system and keep toxins from getting into the blood from the digestive system. The biolumin nightly essence is also very important for all inflammatory issues that are following digestive problems, and they're just good for everybody. So get on the biolumin nightly essence. Make sure she's using the ultimate EFAs. That's your second strategy, is essential fatty acids for all inflammatory conditions. Listen up to go to the archives and listen to the first 5 or 10 minutes of this program where I talked about prostaglandins, and you'll know why these essential fatty acids are so important for inflammation. And then the third ancillary strategy is use the Z radical, or the fucoidan Z is probably a little bit better, and take 3 capsules in the morning, 3 capsules at night. You probably should also have your daughter get on the Healthy Start Pack. So digestion, number 1. Fats, Ultimate EFAs, number 2. And then the Z radical, number 3. And, of course, the Healthy Start Pack is always the baseline where you want to be. Thanks for your call. Let's see if we can get one more in, Doug. What do you say?
We're just about out of time. I'm like 10 seconds from rolling the ending music here.
Well, then that means we're just going to have to leave someone on hold. I apologize for doing that, but I guess I'll be on Thursday again if you'd like to speak to me. And then that's all. Okay, thanks so much for listening, friends. Hey, if you're on the bubble about nutritional supplementation, give it a shot. I'm telling you, as a healthcare professional who's been using nutrition in my practice for 30 years and who's been involved with the longevity products for 17 years, if you are like most Americans, you are going to notice results when you get on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, when you get on the Healthy Start Pack, when you get on the Biolumin Nightly Essence, not in 30 days, not in 14 days, not in 7 days, in 1 to 2 doses. And I've seen it happen more times than I can count. Thanks for listening, friends. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You've been listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie radio program on the ZBS Radio Network.